All right, welcome to the new moon in Gemini coming in on June the 6th. We have a lot of Gemini energy to work with here, so let's get started. We're going to take a look at June. I already did a forecast for June. I recommend going back to watch that video as to what is happening in the month of June altogether, but we do have the influence of a universal month number 5, and it is a karmic debt number 14-5 to be aware of. So beginning of June, we are in the beginning of June. There's a lot of, I feel, energy that's going to build up as far as maybe new opportunity, maybe even juggling multiple things at once. There could be an influx of opportunity. There could be an influx of engagement, social activity, wanting to learn, wanting to experience. So just be aware of some of the energy that might be showing up, or if you are feeling that within yourself, of how to be a little bit more organized than usual, I would say, under the influence of the karmic debt number 14-5. This new moon in Gemini follows the full moon in Sagittarius that we had almost 2 weeks ago, and then will precede the full moon in Capricorn coming in 2 weeks after the new moon, which I will also highlight to take a look at the pattern that we are in right now. Also, what the full moon in Sagittarius offered us as far as a time to release any fears or unconscious barriers that prevents us from being our authentic self, connecting with our inner truth. Also, I would say being open for experiences, experiential learning, and allowing for us to connect with our higher wisdom, our higher knowledge. Now, Gemini brings us into our mind, brings us into the analytical thought, but also learning. Gemini is a very thirsty energy. It's a very young archetype. It is the third archetype in line in the zodiac calendar. So it is all about learning and almost like a sponge, wanting to learn so many things, not only learning, but sharing what it knows. So it has a thirst for knowledge, but it also loves sharing that knowledge with others. It is a very sociable archetype. There's also the archetype association of the dualities with Gemini. So there's another aspect of balance here. We had Sagittarius, which I referred to also regarding the balance of the higher calling, the higher drive, or the higher purpose, I would say, and the primal needs, almost the light and the dark a little bit too, a little bit of some of the shadow aspects versus the true, the authentic self. So there are some of those, the aspects of duality that was provided during the full moon in Sagittarius. However, now moving into Gemini, we have a little bit of the balance as well that is still in play as far as navigating the dualities within ourselves. What does that mean for you? Where would you find yourself almost contemplating or being pulled in different directions, or feeling a split within yourself? It could be with the masculine and feminine archetypes, for example. It could be a certain value or certain belief that opposes, or beliefs that oppose one another. It could be an outer circumstance or an outer interest versus something on the inner side. So there could be the dualities that are in play, where this new moon is inviting us to bring the dualities into one, into harmony and balance by identifying those aspects within ourselves. It is important to keep in mind as well, after the new moon in Gemini, we also are moving into the full moon in Capricorn. After we are moving into cardinal energy, we are also going to be moving into Cancer season, where there's going to be a tone of returning home into our hearts, into our intuition, and into our emotional self. Also, because this new moon falls on the 6th day, we do have, of course, June being the 6th month. There's a nice theme around love, around maybe protecting or aligning or appreciating those around you. It can be very complementary with the archetype of Gemini, as Gemini is naturally very sociable. So there could be even a really nice intention to be set during this new moon pertaining to creating stronger relationships with those who are closest to you. And remembering that we are moving into Cancer season, so this can apply to maybe family matters. This can apply to friends, or those again who are very near and dear to you. This can also evolve over time moving into Cancer season. As I mentioned, also with the full moon in Capricorn, the intentions that we set during this new moon in Gemini are going to be supported by the full moon in Capricorn to allow us to let go of any unconscious fears or patterns or limitations for creating success or tangible results in the material world. So think about where we are going in the future in the next cycle when you set your intentions. The intentions could be based on Gemini's archetype, could be to do with communication, effective communication, if it is public speaking, if it's social media, if it is trying a new form of communication. Another intention could be maybe networking, expanding your network, getting out there a little bit more, socializing, meeting people, connecting with others, opening up yourself to the outer world. Some of us, I know, are introverts and it may be difficult, but through connection and through network, we get to have access to more in life, right? So maybe there is this intention that can be set during the new moon in Gemini. And of course, because we are in mutable season right now, Gemini being a mutable air sign, adaptability and flexibility is incredibly important, especially with this universal month number 5 in June. So adaptability and flexibility with the 5 archetype is going to allow you to be open to life experiences, being open to try new things, being open for opportunity to find you. So what does it mean to be open? This could also be a new moon intention that you can set. And of course, learning. Where can you maybe open up some time or dedicate time to read a new book, or maybe take a class, or go back to school, or learn something that you've been wanting to learn for a while? How can you carve out some time, maybe in your day or your week, to allow for learning? Aligning with your truth also can be a new moon intention because of the full moon in Sagittarius that we just had. Sagittarius is, of course, the truth seeker, but allowing the connection within our own inner truth, which is related to our authentic self. So how can we connect more with who we truly are and communicate effectively based on the connection with ourselves? So showing up more in our authentic self, maybe even working through goals for perhaps public speaking, or sharing ideas and sharing your stories or your knowledge or your wisdom through being authentic. And the dualities can be addressed for this new moon. Where are dualities existing in your life? Are there opposing elements within yourself or within your surroundings or within your life that can be brought into a more harmonious and balanced nature through acceptance, through understanding, and through observation? And remember that these intentions that are set during the new moon in Gemini are going to be met with practical goals because of the Capricorn full moon that we are going to enter afterwards. And the Capricorn full moon is going to invite us to dig deep, is going to invite us to address any limitations, blocks around maybe even money, maybe finances, maybe lack or scarcity or worry around creating these goals. So manifestation and working with these lunar cycles is mostly an inside job. Some of it is going to require us to show up in the practical world, but the moon cycles offer a very profound time for connecting with our deeper selves. The new moon does allow us to set new intentions, but we also have to meet those intentions with our energetic self, with our mental self, with our emotional self, and with our practical self, meaning that when we are in alignment, we are able to then manifest in the practical realm through our hard effort, through our resources, through our skills, and then creating some kind of outcome as a result. Now, the outcome can be financial gain, it can be financial reward, can be, of course, inviting more structure and stability, as in a strategy, a plan, and putting in the effort, putting in the hard work, which is Capricorn. And so this full moon is going to support the efforts that you set as an intention for the new moon in Gemini. So in 2 weeks, you're going to have a build up of what it's going to take for you to see your intentions through, right? And the full moon in Capricorn, which I'll get to at a later date, will support this initiative, will support your intentions that you are going to set during this new moon phase. So as a recap, with this new moon in Gemini, and especially being again in a universal month number 5 and having a lot of intense Gemini energy at the beginning of the month, it is a time to be sociable. It is a time to step out of our comfort zone and also connect with new forms of communication. How can we overcome our fears, or maybe step into or experiment a little bit with new forms and new ways of communicating? How can we embody more of our authentic self to connect with our truth and share our wisdom, share our knowledge with others? And this can be even as simple as a family relationship, how to effectively communicate, how to communicate vulnerably or openly or based on our authentic self. Or it can even pertain to public speaking or social media, what steps need to be implemented to maybe communicate effectively. Also, of course, I love the opening up the network. So expanding your network and maybe even growing your social circle a little bit more than what you had before or what you were comfortable with. So this month does definitely have a theme of adaptability and flexibility and being open for opportunities. So I'm wishing you all the best during this wonderful new moon ahead. Make the best of it, and I'll see you again very soon. Take care.